Okay, hi, welcome back. Welcome to a new video. This time we're doing something really fun, something I'm very excited about. It's going to be a reading vlog of the Shatter Me series. Well, specifically the second half of the Shatter Me series. Let me rearrange the book so they look a little bit more pretty. There's a lot of them. Yep. So, if you've already been subscribed to my channel, you would know that I've already read the first half of the Shatter Me series, and I also have a book talk about Ignite Me, which was the third book in the Shatter Me series. So, if you'd like to watch that, you can head on over to that video. I will link it down in the description as well. And today we're reading the rest of the series together. Now I'm letting you guys know this will have spoilers. Okay, it'll be filled with spoilers. It'll be filled with me reading this with you in real time and discussing my thoughts about it as well. So if you haven't read it or if you want to avoid spoilers, letting you know. But yes, we'll be reading this. I have all the books over here with me today. We have Restore Me, we have Find Me, which has the two novellas Shadow Me and Reveal Me. We have Defy Me, Imagine Me, and lastly, Believe Me. I'm gonna read them hopefully as soon as I can because I'm really excited after the way we left off in Ignite Me. I'm so excited to see what happens next with their story, how it progresses, what the plot is looking like, because I have no clue, no guesses. And also just to see Aaron and Juliet together. Oh my god, my heart is just so happy. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Starting with the very first book, Restore Me. Let's get into it. Oh, what? Why does it say Juliet? Are we switching point of views in this book? Why does it say Juliet, Juliet, Juliet? Aaron. Wait, what? Aaron? Warner? Are we switching point of views in this book? Oh my god. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my god. I love this. Okay, let's start. This opening, I'm already loving it. This entire opening with Kenji and him cutting Wano's hair. Oh my god. I love it already. Okay. Okay, let's read on. Okay, I'm on page 63, and Juliet is just realizing that running a continent is a lot of hard work. It's not easy, and I'm honestly surprised as well. Like, throughout the third book as well, I was thinking that she wants to fight and she wants freedom, but I never expected like she would want to run and become the supreme commander of the continent. But that's exactly what happened, and I wonder if maybe throughout the books or towards the end of the series, um, Warner will become the supreme commander instead, because he's been the leader type and he knows his politics, or she'll just buck up. Who knows? But let's see. Right now, the story is pretty political, so let's see. Adam and Warner having a moment. So awkward, and I'm not sure I personally forgive Adam yet. I'll have to see him really work the apology. Like, I understand where it's coming from, and people can do bad things when they're in a bad space, but I need to see him work for it. Everything that Kenji is saying about the racial altercations that used to happen back in their day sounds very familiar. Very familiar to our world. And sometimes when I read these dystopians and they're all set like in a post-apocalyptic age, after having gone through issues like these very similar to our world, I can't help but think that these books are our world's future. Okay, I'm 95 pages in, and I just read a little bit about the things that Warner has had to go through with his friends from the re-establishment and the parents, and his dad has, the things his dad has made him do. It is a lot. That is a lot of traumatic things to go through, and to have lived through all that is insane. I feel so bad for him. I just read the scene between Warner and Juliet where he reassures her that she's completely capable and all that stuff, and then they have this little cute little scene with them. It was so sweet, but also like I need them to just talk to each other, okay? I know their pain is like holding them back, but they need to freaking talk to each other and spill the beans and find out what the big deal is here, because I can't have this be dragged out the entire book. Give me some answers, please. Someone just shot her. I don't know who it is. Is it Heather? Like, he's a sniper, right? What's going on? What the hell? Juliet isn't her real name. She has a sister. Her parents are alive. This was an experiment. What? This is so much information. I knew I wanted answers, but what? I need to know the why of these things, and I need to know. I just have more questions now. What? I'm about this much through the book. I've read half the book left. Oh my god. Okay, so wow, that's a lot to wrap my head around. She has a sister. Her parents willingly gave both the sisters up to help the re-establishment, and she didn't show her powers, so they gave her up for adoption, and then she started manifesting her powers. She was abused through her life, and then that's the history that we know of. Her sister and her were separated, and her sister has been in captivity for 12 years, and she's been kept underwater. This is so much. I still don't know what they've been like. What have they done with the sister? They kept her captive. They wanted to use her powers, but what then? Like, why keep her captive? What are they doing with her? This changes so much, and I really hope Warner tells Juliet like immediately about all of this. She deserves to know, and she's not gonna hate him for all this. He needs to get over his fear. Oh my god. He just told her everything, and she said that she can't trust him anymore, and she's left, and oh my god, this is too sad. The writing in this book is just as beautiful. This is the part where Juliet has run away from Bono and she's collapsed by a bus, and she's crying, and she's basically like letting all her feelings out, and she says, I chained the terrified little girl of my past in some unknowable dungeon inside of me, where she and her fears have been carefully stored, sealed away. Her memories suffocated, her anger ignored. I do not speak to her, I don't dare look in her direction. I hate her, but right now I can hear her crying. Right now I can see her, this other version of myself. I can see her dragging her dirty fingernails against the chambers of my heart, drawing blood. And if I could reach inside myself and rip her out of me with my own two hands, I would. I feel like she, like the author, she describes anger and pain and devastation so beautifully, and I can relate to it sometimes so well. Dude, she just shattered glass and some of it went in her eye and her mouth, and she just pulled it out like it's nothing. Oh. Nazira has powers. She can fly. Oh my god. I hate these men of books who think that when the girl breaks up with him, they shouldn't chase after her. Yes, respect her wishes, but at the same time, get a grip. At least try to get her back. Oh my god. I fucking love Kenji. He's the only one who's ever talking sense into people, and oh my god, I don't know what they do without him. Oh my god, his ex-girlfriend just showed up. His ex-girlfriend is one of the children of the Supreme Commanders. Please, the drama. Oh my god. I'm on page 333. I have about this much of the book left. We just had the sweet chapter between Nazira and Juliet where she tells her a little bit more about Wano, and that the plan of the re-establishment is to destroy Sector 45. And honestly, it was a heartwarming chapter. I hope their friendship really blossoms through the series. I'm excited to see that. I also think something's gonna happen between Nazira and Kenji, obviously. She just she just killed everyone. 554 people and everyone else who was in the room. She killed everyone. I just finished Restore Me. I don't even know what to say. Her parents, her mom is the supreme commander of Oceana. Oh my god. She killed off all those people first of all. Castle is injured, Kenji is injured, Warner, I don't know. Ian, Alia, all of those people are dead. God, the Polaroids. Her name is Ella. Her real name is Ella. And that last Polaroid of Aaron and her together as kids. Oh my god. My final thoughts on the book. It was pretty slow to pick up. There's a lot of backstory that was needed to be built in here, but I still enjoyed it. I loved it a lot. Obviously, the conflict between Warner and Juliet had to come. There has to be some conflict, right, for the second half of the series, and this is what it is. Adam is pretty non-existent in the book, which honestly I did not mind. I did not miss him. Honestly, I really liked it. I don't know what I'll rate it as of now. Probably like a 4.5, 4.3. I don't know. First novella, Shadow Me. I'll be reading that right now. Okay, so to update, I finished the book last night, the first book, Restore Me, and then I read the novella, Shadow Me. I really liked it. I liked seeing Kenji's point of view for the first time so far in the series. I really hope him and Nazira work out. I know they will. I have a lot of questions still. I feel like the more answers we get, the more something else is built up and the more questions I start gaining again. I'm confused. They're not dead. Are the people not dead? I have a lot of questions. So many questions, and I'm gonna start reading Defy Me now and hopefully we'll get some answers. I just read the chapter where Nazira explains everything to everyone and what she's really here for and her memories resurfacing. And it's really interesting to see everything that Nazira is explaining and as it's overlapped with Aaron and Juliet's memories of them as babies, like as kids, like the fact that they knew each other, they were friends, and it's just clearly there's a always meant to be trope playing over here. But yeah, I'm like baffled, honestly. Like there's so much. This changes everything we knew in the first part of the series. So let's keep reading. So Anderson knew that these kids were friends, and then he sent Juliet away to her adoptive parents, wiped her memory, wiped Warner's memory as well, and then years later, when Warner wanted to bring Juliet to base, he agreed, knowing the history there. That is so fucking twisted. Also, like, who is torturing Warner? Is he in the same place as Juliet? Like, are her parents the one torturing him? Like, I cannot watch him suffer. It is hurting me. I am just so curious as to what's happening. Kenji and Nazira made out. Oh my god, that was so cute. Y'all, her parents are fucking crazy. She just slapped her, and then the dad, like, put a syringe in her neck, probably blacked her out. What is going on? Every time in books the main crew gets separated, I have so much anxiety. No, 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 no. What is going on? Anderson is here? Anderson is here? I'm so confused. Delelu is dead? Oh my god. We just found out that Warner and Juliet were always drawn towards each other, and Anderson knew about it and he's been wiping his memory, and Adam was planted by Anderson, and then Delelu gets shot and Anderson is here. This is like an Indian soap, honestly. What is going on? Fucking Vampire Diaries into Cassandra Clare books. What is going on? Okay, so I didn't get much of a chance to read beyond what I had yesterday. I had a lot of work to do and then I went to sleep. But today we are finishing this. You guys, if I thought Anderson was intimidating, her parents are like batshit crazy. Like they're unhinged. The things that they're doing to her, the torture. I'm actually afraid for Juliet, not gonna lie. I'm also afraid for Kenji, and I'm also afraid for Warner, so I'm just anxious. Yay! I'm sure Nazira is just pretending to be with Anderson. I'm sure. I'm sure. It is wild to me that Anderson is the one who planted this idea for Warner to find Juliet and bring her to base. It was never Warner, it was never his intention. Anderson has been behind it all. I can't believe these people are parents. You know, like what I'm most baffled about is that it's not like an organization of bad guys or the government versus these kids. It's literally their own parents. How did they become parents to begin with? What? Every chapter is slapping me in the face. Kenji is in the asylum that Juliet was in. All these memories of like Aaron and Juliet or Ella, I guess, as kids. They're so sweet and so heartwarming, and I love that it's like a meant to be. They were always drawn to each other. Every single time their memory was wiped, they were still pulled back to each other. It's so sweet and so cruel. Also, like her hair is long again. I don't know why. Like, what kind of experiment made her hair grow back? And also, why was it necessary? Like, is it like, did they plan to do it? Like, they were like, no, no, no. We'll torture her to death, but she needs to have long hair. Like, what? Why was this a necessity? This line is so sweet. She says, Aaron Warner Anderson is the only emotional through line in my life that ever made sense. He's the only constant, the only steady, reliable heartbeat I've ever had. Okay, so Nazira has kidnapped Kenji and she's secretly flying him to Oceania. Oh my god. Warner killed Anderson, or at least that's what he believes. I personally would make sure I would stay there and make sure that he's dead. He just walked off, and I'm like, no, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back for sure. Emmeline is speaking in Juliet's head. What is going on? Are they connected somehow now because of all the experiments? Or like Emmeline has telekinesis, so somehow that has something to do with this. Oh my god, Emmeline is the one who's been turning their memories to them, and her capabilities are like enhanced insanely by her parents. But god, her suffering, it is absolute madness. Oh my god. She just pulled out Evie's heart out of her chest. I am losing my mind. Oh my god. Honestly, I am still processing, but I love Juliet as a main character, or Ella, whatever. Like I love the contrast of her gentleness with her ruthlessness, and I love that she's so no nonsense when it comes to killing off her enemies. She's not wasting time, she's not thinking of ways to save them. She's just like, you're wrong, you're bad, you're dead. Okay, it's been a while since we got a Kenji chapter, so I'm not really sure what's up with him and Nazira, and I hope they're okay. I know they're in Oceania finally, so I know we're getting a reunion of all four of them, which I'm really happy about. I need it, honestly. I'm desperate for it, but let's see. Anderson can heal himself. He says, part of the reason I wanted custody of those healer twins was because I wanted Evie to study them. I wanted her to replicate their DNA and braid it into my own. Healing powers, I realized, were extremely useful. Oh my god, that's how he's been able to stay alive. Oh my, Nazira is here, Nazira is here. She said, don't scream, she's invisible behind Warner. They're here. Oh my god, oh my god. I literally yelled out loud. I yelled out loud. Oh my god. The Kenji and Juliet, or Ella, reunion just happened. Oh my god, I'm so emotional right now. I'm so glad these two are together again. I'm almost through with the book. I have like this much left. Warner just said shit. Something about Warner swearing for the first time is so hot to me. I don't know. Warner and Ella and Juliet, whatever. I don't know. Are we really changing her name? Is she Ella from now on? Because that's a lot to take in. But both of them are together again. Finally, my god, my heart was beating so fast. I was like, just go, get out of here. Take the plane into the sky. Please. I if they're only together for seconds and they're separated again, I will not be able to take it. He wants to marry her, he says, and I realize then, in a moment that terrifies me, that I want this forever. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I want to build a future with her. I want to grow old with her. I want to marry her. I'm dead. Oh my god. After that wild fucking ride, this entire book, to finally get this, I'm so satisfied right now. Warner was about to propose. He was about to say it and Kenji stopped him. But honestly, I feel like I don't think like they're the kind of couple who need a ring and for Wano like to go down on his knee. Like I don't think that's them. The friendship little scene between Kenji and Wano was so heartwarming. I love their friendship. I love that it's developing and I can't see it fulfilled hopefully in the next book. She shot her and gave her the hallucination of the light, and that light was the symbol for Castle. That was the signal for him because her power is using light. What the fuck? The entire this the earth's atmosphere being ruined and everything, all of that is an illusion because her parents like extended Emmeline's powers to such an extent that they're just creating this illusion all over the world. How? Like for years there's been this illusion of the earth being in a catastrophic state. All of it all over the world. That's an insane, like that's insane. How? Warner just asked Juliet to marry her. He said, Kenji said I was supposed to get you a ring. I know I'm doing this wrong. I know I'm not good at this sort of thing, love, and I hope you'll forgive me for it. But I don't know how else to do it. And I'm starting to think it might kill me if I don't. And she says, Aaron, what are you talking about? And then she turns to him and he says, marry me, he whispered to her. Oh my god. This is perfect, honestly. It's a perfect proposal for them. And I'm so glad this happened. And oh my god, will we get a wedding in the next book? No. Wait. Like an epilogue sort of thing? Oh my god. They threw him a birthday party. That's so freaking sweet. And I love how the book ended. It says, we're going to find time for happiness because how can we stand against tyranny if we ourselves are filled with hate? I want to remember to celebrate more. I want to remember to experience more joy. I want to allow myself to be happy more frequently. I want to remember forever this look on Aaron's face as he's bullied into blowing out his birthday candles for the very first time. This is, after all, what we're fighting for, isn't it? A second chance at joy. Oh my god, and now we're gonna move to the final fight. I mean, I'm gonna read the Reveal Me novella first, obviously, but then we move on to the final fight. Oh my god. I do have some questions though, like where are Adam and James? Because Adam knows that Anderson is alive, so it seems fishy that they're not there with them, and I don't know why no one else is concerned about that. Okay, I'm reading Reveal Me, and Kenji is having pretty much the same questions that I am, and I'm just realizing that Anderson wanted the twins because he was trying to braid their DNA into his, and so that he can self-heal. And Adam and James are missing and we don't know where they are, and it seems unlikely that Adam would want to stay on base knowing that Anderson is alive and all he wants to do is keep James away. And James has the power to self-heal. Am I overthinking this, or is that a little scary? Because we know that Anderson and all these people are not above experimenting on kids and killing kids and destroying their lives. So I'm a little worried about James right now. I have two things to say. First of all, like I always say, Kenji is so underappreciated. Everyone else needs to listen to him more. Understand he's a human being too. And Kenji, I do care about your emotions. Oh my god, I feel so bad for him. Second thing though, now he's taking out all his frustration on Nazira and they're having a really bad fight. Honestly, the things he's saying to her, oof. Nazira asked him, I kissed you. Did you think I was a machine then too? And he says, maybe. Kenji, my man, what are you doing? Do you want this girl or not? Oh my god, oh my god. He called her insane and then he's like, no, you're not insane. But 20 minutes ago, you were accusing me of being in love with my best friend. So to be fair, I think my feelings are warranted. And she goes, you were looking at her like you were in love with her. And he's like, Jesus Christ, woman, I look at you like I'm in love with you. Oh my god, Kenji. I feel so bad for Kenji right now. I really wish he had someone in his corner, and I hate seeing him suffer like this. Lol, Kenji doesn't know what to call her. He's like, Jello shows up before I can answer. Okay, so Kenji was probably not feeling good because of the drug that Nazira put in him. He's woken up and man, these two need to sort his shit out. Nazira needs to sort her shit out, honestly, because Kenji deserves a little better. I love you, Nazira, but you can do better. Like, try, okay? This feels like the Warner thing all over again. She needs to learn how to be human. But then suddenly, I'm confused, honestly, as to what just happened. The people outside their protective dome are like screaming, and the sun is being weird or something. The light is being weird, and then Juliet is screaming and she says, Emmeline, please don't do this. What just happened? Something new has happened. I think I forgot to share my rating, by the way. Defy Me, I rated a solid 4.6. Reveal Me, I think, is a solid 3.7. It's a little bit frustrating, the entire thing between Nazira and him, and it's also sad to. I just don't like seeing Kenji suffer. And just when we thought all my questions were resolved and Defy Me, I have more questions now about Adam and James, and about Anderson's plans, and about whatever the fuck just happened at the end of this book. It's time to start with this one. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and then begin reading this. Okay, so I'm finally starting with Imagine Me right now, and I have only two hopes for this book. One, that Aaron and Juliet, or Ella, survive, because I think the author is very, very capable of killing off our main characters. And the second is, I hope Kenji finds some justice. I need people to acknowledge his emotions. I need people to stop thinking he's there to cheer them up and that he'll be obedient all the time. He deserves some grace as well. And I hope he finds a listening ear. I hope he finds it in Nazira. I hope the two of them can blossom and become a little more compatible. Honestly, this is one series where my mind is just switched off. I'm still processing everything from the last 2 days, and I'm going with the ride. I'm here for the vibes. I have no guesses for anything. I'm open to everything at this point. You guys, I'm like 57 pages in, and the shit is intense. It's intense and it's scary. I honestly don't understand half of what's going on. Emmeline is like trying to kill them. The world is fucking dying, or it's just a vision that Emmeline is spreading around. Juliet, she's dying. Like, I don't. If this is the beginning of the book, what is to come in the rest of it? I honestly feel a little exhausted. I don't know how any of them are still alive. Juliet, Warner, Kenji. How are their bodies still persevering? Okay, so I haven't been updating much because I've just been too terrified reading this. I've read about this much. So far, Evie sort of settled herself into Juliet's mind. Like, it was Evie in Juliet's body. And then Juliet finally woke up, but by the time that happened, Anderson and his men had reached their base. And then there was a whole fight that went down. It was terrifying. Kenji and Nazira got shot, and Warner tried to convince Anderson to take him instead, but they got Juliet, and Juliet is back in Oceana now, and they're trying to finish the transfer. Everything is, it's too intense. Okay, it's the next day and I didn't get much time to read, but I'm reading it now, and Juliet is like a super soldier now for Anderson. What? And he asked her to get on her knees and tell him that he is her master. What the fuck? Oh my god. Adam made a deal with Anderson to give up his power. What the fuck, man? Like, there is nothing redeemable about Adam at this point. He was practically missing from the last two books. Hasn't had much to offer ever since he like completely batshit verbally abused Juliet. And now this, like, are you fucking stupid? Do you not know that the deal is not gonna make him safe? It's not gonna make James safe. And now they have the one thing that could help stop these guys. What the hell? Okay, this entire plot line of like Juliet being attracted to Anderson and the way she's describing all his features, it's creeping me out. I don't understand why we have this plot line, and I'm just glad at this point that Anderson is not taking advantage of her, because reading this is repulsive enough. Kenji and Warner are finally going to rescue Jay. They both are going together. Finally, something right is happening. This book is just making me anxious, and finally, they're doing something and they're doing it together. Yo, Anderson just made her cut off her finger. What the fuck? What the fuck? That was painful to read. And how did the scorpions just suddenly turn on her and all three of them together like that? What? Castle just said this about Kenji. He said, besides, we don't love him for his jokes too, we Nazira. We love him for his heart. And yes, we do. I wrote in like big block letters. Yes, we do. We're approaching the end game now, and they're about to leave. And Noria just told them, "Don't you understand? This is it. This is the end. This is the defining moment we've all been fighting for. The end of an era. The end of a revolution." Damn, these Supreme Commanders are really turning on themselves. Y'all, Anderson injected himself with Adam's DNA. We all knew this would happen, and now he's gonna be invincible. Fucking hell. Nazira just said, "Hey, I have a feeling I'm about 4 months away from falling madly in love with you, so please don't get yourself killed, okay?" She just told Kenji this. So all these Supreme Commanders, Ibrahim and Anderson and Max, they were fighting about that they should they send Juliet out or not to kill Warner, Kenji, and Nazira, who have now entered the compound. And they're doing all that, and she's like confused about the things that they're saying, and then suddenly Kenji whispers behind her, "Hey, princess." I wonder if she recognizes voice, but honestly, oh my god, I could cry right now. Warner and Juliet are fighting right now. Oh my god, this shit is intense. Warner is trying to get her to remember him, and he's saying the most beautiful things to her. He just said, "Come back to me, love, come back." I'm still struggling to breathe, desperately searching his eyes for answers, explanations. Where? Here, he whispers, pressing my hands to his heart. Oh my god, are they about to have sex right now? Shit, okay. So Juliet remembers him now, and she literally fought with herself and the system and the virus in her, and she's like bleeding out of her ears and eyes and teeth, and she just pulled out the little thing in her wrist that was preventing her from remembering, and she just pulled it out. Now she has a big wound in her arm, and she's just, oh my god. Honestly, if you think about everything they've been through in these books, like, apart from all the emotional trauma, the physical trauma that she has had to go through all her life, it's a lot. It's a lot for one person to bear. Okay, so Anderson is dead because he tried to take in a second power, and that, like, Max was concerned about that anyway, or Ibrahim, whatever. They were concerned about that because it could create a problem, and the problem is probably that his self-healing powers aren't working as well now, which is why he can die now. Okay, so I'm done with the book. I got a little emotional in the end where they found Emmeline, and Emmeline asked Juliet to kill her, and she said she'll take her body back. And it was a little, yeah, emotional. I knew that there was no way we could save her and she would die, but just the way that entire scene was written, and like it was at a point where Juliet had really just come undone. She had nothing left to give anymore. And then seeing how she had to do that to her sister, and this was the last little piece of devastation that she had to go through, and to think of everything that her sister had to go through, and just the last chapter, the way it was written, really made me emotional, honestly. And the epilogue was beautiful as well. It was such a contrast from how we ended the story. Like, I felt like I was reading some other book altogether. There are still answers I want, and I hope the novella will answer them. So there are a few things I'm confused about, though. I don't know if we'll get the answers in Believe Me, but like, people have just forgiven Adam. Like, everyone was so enraged about the fact that he bartered his power to Anderson, and then nothing. And honestly, like, he hasn't done anything redeemable since Ignite Me, nothing at all. And now he's just a part of them, and he's happy, and everything's all good. Like, I don't understand. Another thing I have an issue with, honestly, which I don't think we'll get answers to in Believe Me, is Nazira and Kenji's relationship. I feel like we had like 3 scenes of them together, and all 3 scenes were them just fighting each other and miscommunicating with each other. And then she got shot, and then she woke up, and they went to get Juliet, and they were suddenly in a relationship. Like, Warner was like, "You didn't tell me about your relationship," and Kenji's like, "I thought I'd wait until it." Like, did I miss a scene? When did you guys make it official? When did you come to a point where you were able to accept each other's feelings, and you were able to talk about it and accept each other's circumstances, and forgive each other for the fights that you've been having continuously every single time you talk? Like, I I love them. I like Nazira a lot. I love Kenji, obviously, and I want him to have love. I want him to have a relationship that he can depend on. But I don't know, like, every time we have Kenji's POV, we've got this. He's always talked about he doesn't have someone who he can truly depend on and be vulnerable with. And I was hoping we would get to see him be that with Nazira, and him realizing that Nazira is that person for him. But we don't actually see that happening. We don't see Nazira being an emotional support for him, and vice versa. We don't get any scene, not even one scene. And every time we do get close to it, something or the other happens and cuts them off. So I'm just confused by their timeline. I feel like they had so much potential, but they weren't really given right focus, and I'm disappointed by that. Anyway, on to Believe Me now. Excited for this. I read the back of it. It's their wedding, isn't it? So happy. I usually don't like wedding scenes. There are very few book weddings I enjoy, and this is gonna be one of them for sure, man. Oh my god. Halfway through the book, and honestly, I think Warner can be a little nicer to everyone now. Even if not everyone, at least Kenji. I think a little bit, just a little bit. No harm done, okay? And I think everyone else can also sort of like try to give him some space. Like, they're constantly in his space, and they know how he is. When you know how he is, why are you still instigating him all the time? Okay, I finished the novella, all of it. It was really sweet. We got some really sweet Juliet and Warner moments. We got some really sweet Warner and Kenji moments that I'm finally like, you could see the ice melting. We don't see the entire ice melted away in this. I think that's just an open ending. But we see it happening, and he says thank you a couple of times during the last wedding scene, and that was so nice to see. And the fact that in the end he thinks he has friends now, and Kenji's gonna be their neighbor, and all of Juliet's plans for the world, like, a lot of heartwarming things. And I'm just glad that both of them, Juliet and Warner, get the end that they deserve. They get the wedding that they deserve, and I don't know, I'm just happy. I rated like a 3.5 this novella, and I think I didn't rate Imagine Me, but I rate this a 4.4. Okay, we are officially done reading the entire series, and here are my final thoughts. First of all, can we appreciate how pretty these look? I've annotated all of them, and they're so pretty. So first of all, I thought a little bit more, and I have some more thoughts about Imagine Me. Some things that had been bothering me, and I didn't even realize until now, is like I was saying about Nazira and Kinji. Um, Everything that I said about the relationship and how it was portrayed, but also, if you really think about it, he was constantly thinking about Juliet, and not in a romantic way, of course, but he thought of Juliet more than he thought of Nazira. And granted, Juliet was in a lot more life threatening situations, but he was always like worried about her and thinking about her and thinking about how hard it will be for him to live without her. And he only ever thought of Nazira when she was right in front of him. I wish we could have known more about the dynamics between the other Supreme Commanders and their kids, because in Restore Me, it seemed like they trusted them enough to send them to Sector 45 instead of themselves. But I don't know, there was never a conversation between any of them about like the Supreme Commander's kids becoming their allies. I feel like Stefan or Stefan, however you say it, and Ibrahim just showed up out of nowhere and suddenly they were like, they're like, yes, we're your partners. And it's wild because, like, so did they always plan to be on their side, or did they change their minds? And how did the Supreme Commanders feel about this? We never got to see. Nazira, in the beginning of the series, had told Kenji that she can't be with him because she will be going back, and she has a different life and everything. But she always felt like she had chosen this side already, so why would she go back? And then the Supreme Commanders, like, I know all of them pretty much had tough lives because of their parents, and their parents gave them a tough life. But to what extent? Like, did all their relationships become the way Warner and Anderson's relationship became? Because Ibrahim seemed to care that Anderson shot Nazira and he wanted her alive, and yet Heather was kept in a tank. Like, did the other Supreme Commanders not know what was happening with the rest of the kids, or they were okay, like, keeping them locked up in a tank and keeping them hostage? So, do they care about the kids? Do they not care about the kids? Do they know they've been traitorous? Do they not know they've been traitorous? I am just really confused. Apart from all this, I am really happy with the series. I feel like the first half of the series up till Ignite Me, and then the second half, they seem like two different series altogether, honestly. I don't know if it's because I read all of this together and a month apart, but it feels like that was a whole different world and this is a whole different world, but it's not. But I did enjoy this a lot. I feel like some things had a lot of potential but became too convoluted to be addressed and to be given the proper attention. But apart from that, I liked the way the story progressed. At a point, I really had no guesses to give. I was just living for the ride of what I was coming through. The author is just capable of doing anything, anything in this book, and the second half especially went a lot darker than I expected. Like, I was constantly feeling so anxious for all three of them and how much they had to suffer. But I like how we ended off. I don't think we could have had a better end, to be honest, to the re-establishment and to the Supreme Commanders and their entire plan and how it went down. I do love the series a lot. I think overall I would give it anything between 4 to 4.5, maybe higher just for Warner. I don't know, but yeah, 4.5 is, I think, I cap it. I love the series. I love these characters. I feel like they're a part of me. I don't know if it's just because the last 3.5 days I've been so consumed in these books that it'll take me a while to step away from it. But even after Ignite Me, I couldn't stop thinking of them and I had to get all the books at once. So I love the world. I love these characters. I love Wano. I love Juliet. I love Kenji. Like, these three have my heart till the end of time. And it was honestly also fun. I also love that no matter how dark these books were, they were still funny as well. And not just because of Kenji's jokes. These were actually funny books. Like, I have so many pages bookmarked in all of them that are just because they made me laugh. I feel like my thoughts are all over the place, but thank you for joining me on this reading vlog. I really enjoyed these books. I enjoyed the last 3 days a lot. I'm a little sad as well that we're saying goodbye to this world. I don't have any more of these characters to go back to or the story to go back to. It's done, it's finished, and you know that feeling you get at the end of fantasies when you're just like, oh my god, this is it, this is the last one, and we have to say goodbye now. I feel a little sad because I gave so much of my time to them and I love them so dearly. but I feel happy at the same time. I feel like we got the end we deserved, and I'm happy about that. If you've stayed so far, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. It would mean a lot. Comment down below what your thoughts are about this entire series. If you want to recommend something else to me, because I love anything that's crazy and that's batshit unhinged, I'm open for it. So if you have any other recommendations, if you want to discuss the books with me, I would love to, and I would love to respond to you in the comments. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.